Good evening and welcome everybody to Pop Go the Writers. It helps if I move my microphone over here. Shows you how together I am with this.
We are winging it tonight.
That's right. We both literally just got on here. It's been a weekend, so I actually was out of up visiting my friend in Victorville last night. Got back home early this morning in time to do my normal Sunday work, and then met with a group for our Zero session for a new D&D group.
Oh, envy.
Yeah, no, I'm DMing it. It's not that much envy. Actually, it is kind of cool because we got a lot of industry people in it. It's somebody from Top Cow, somebody from Skybound, one of the guys that helps run the Comic Palooza in Texas. So,
it's an online game?
Yeah.
Like, so you probably could have invited somebody from, I don't know, Detroit?
Yeah, could have. Would you been available at 1 p.m. Pacific time on a Sunday?
Probably.
See, I thought you worked Sundays.
Nope. Although I probably spending the time, doing the writing thing was probably worthwhile. And grab lunch with a friend.
Yeah, because it usually sounds like you're like running in when we do the show.
Oh, no, that's usually I've just woken up.
Oh,
from my Sunday evening nap.
Yeah.
Because I'm old.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting group, but no one wanted to play a cleric, so I had to roll a cleric that I can run as I'm running the game.
A Nipsey cleric, as I like to say. NPC, Nipsey.
Yes. Well, I had fun with them. We can do a little D&D talk. I think that fits our... Yeah.
D&D is definitely pop.
Yes. I made him a life domain cleric because he's going to be all heals. That's all he's doing is healing. But I made him a furbolg because I thought, what's better than a almost 8-foot tall creature wearing chainmail going, let me heal you. And then I was talking with my nephew, and he's like, well, you got to come up with who he worships. And I'm like, well, furbolgs are like really into nature, so it should be something natural, like an animal god. And then it clicked. Ratatoskr.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. So
I like the idea of furbolg worshipping a squirrel.
A giant squirrel.
Sure.
Yeah. But, the squirrel that runs up and down the world tree. So part of his character is that he tends to have squirrels running around him all the time. Some just kind of fall asleep in his pockets and stuff. So he's just going to have that. And he's got this big shield that's going to have Ratatoskr on it. And that'll be his holy symbol, the shield. And yeah, I'm going to have fun with it. And then I'm going to borrow from Matt Mercer. He kind of set it up on what a furbolg should sound like with his character of Pumat Soul. So he's going to sound like this. He's going to, he's going to sound like he's up from Wisconsin, or maybe one of them cheeseheads over there in Green Bay.
Which is still in Wisconsin, hey?
Yeah. Yes, but they don't know it.
It's kind of like the people in the UP of Michigan who are like, well, we should be on our own. Yeah. And it's like, well, sure, except you don't have much industry anymore. So how are you going to support yourselves?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or, like Quebec.
Not getting myself into any trouble here.
No, not at all. Or Montreal that just wants to be on its own too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
will give updates as I go as this game gets started. We just did our Zero episode. Yep. We're going to do our first one on November 7th. So by then I should have more updates on. I will give you this one teaser though that One of our players is playing a human wizard named Melvin Hasselhoff.
And is he talking about freedom?
Like, is this like the unpopular brother of David Hasselhoff? You know? And he says,
yes, they don't like him in Germany.
Yeah. He goes, well, I'm recycling the name. I'm like, you've used this before?
Melvin Hasselhoff, more than once.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm half tempted to record the sessions and put them up on because I'm going to run them through StreamYard here because I can easy to bring people in, stuff like that. I can put, So I may do that. I got to check with everybody to see what they would think about it. But
yeah.
We're going to do Candlekeep Mysteries.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. It's kind of a unique adventure book or however they refer to their books, because each mystery it's a series of like 17 mysteries, and almost every one is for a specific level. So basically you do a mystery and you level up, you do another mystery, you level up, so you're not having to keep all that baggage of storytelling. You get to move on to another mystery and another mystery, so it'll almost be done like seasons. And I figured for a lot of us, we're doing all these shows, we're doing all these things, it'll be easier to keep track of that way. Yeah. And then also if we're swapping characters in and out and stuff like that, we can. So
this week's guest star.
I do want to bring in guest stars. But again, we'll see how all that works out. I got to get a feel for what the group. Yeah. We do have one non-industry person in it. So poor guy. It should be interesting. So, all right. Oh, that was my D&D update. Mr. Story, how was your week?
But I just asked how your week was. Apparently we glitched at the time. It was perfectly adequate. Did get to got some stock for my trip to Baltimore later in the month. Nice. Which is always pleasant to actually be able to get in touch and go like, hey, I need this, and it arrives. And am plugging away on my next Stanley Squirrel script for next Halloween. What was it? Oh yeah, I bought luggage. After my trip to Florida, I realized it got me thinking about how I need I'm going to Baltimore later this week, and I need a good hard side. Yes, what do they call them? Spinners. Yeah. That I can take and actually put stocking. Put the books in so that it's not a complete mess. Because that's why you fly Southwest if you're going to a convention, because you can take 2 bags of 50 pounds each.
See,
for free.
My rule is if I can't drive to the con, I don't go.
Yeah.
But I'll drive a long way.
Yeah. So. My rule is if the con doesn't give me at least a table, I don't go.
Yeah, that's another part. They have to comp me a table. So
yeah.
So I should announce my next con will actually be in December, the Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario.
Ooh, really? And you're going to drive up there?
Ontario, California. There's one out here too.
Because I was going to say, hey, that's cool. You can stop by as you head to Canada.
Yeah.
Now I'm disappointed.
The farthest I've driven for a con is either Dallas or we went to Emerald City Con
or Falcon's Crest.
Yes, Knots Landing. We drove up to Knots Landing. We went from after Emerald City. We went up to visit a friend on Vancouver Island. So that's about as far as I've driven. But
yeah.
Yeah, I've been to like Chicago and stuff like that, but that's back when I was a computer programmer and they flew me every place to fix things.
Ah,
It's like,
yeah.
I don't want to do that. I'm a big guy. Airplanes are tiny.
It is true, and you have to pay for upgrades.
Yep. All right. So since we didn't lay out what our topics are going to be tonight, I don't think you got to see Venom yet, did you?
I did not get to be Venom. Let there be cabbage.
Yes. So I will talk about that a little bit, but not too much. I know it's also probably not on your list. You're not a Venom guy, so
I'm not, although it was mostly just time this week.
Yeah,
Because if I could have hit up a matinee, I would have done it.
Yeah, which is what I did on Monday. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to see No Time to Die yet. It might be another week because that's a long movie.
Oh, really? I haven't looked at the time yet.
It's almost 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Who do they think they are, Marvel?
Well, it's Daniel Craig's swan song, so they wanted to get 3 movies out of it.
Yeah. But and we are going to talk about. We're going to ponder the question: what if?
Yeah, that's going to be our big topic. Also, have you had a chance to watch Only Murderers in the Building?
I have been watching religiously.
We can talk about that tonight. I watched all 8 episodes that are available last night.
And you were just like, more!
Yes.
And there was no more.
I will tell you the first thing that surprised me, and I didn't realize till about the 7th episode, they're only like a half hour long.
Yeah.
They don't feel that short.
No, they cram a lot of stuff in there. Lots of character bits, lots of information, twists, turns. They have saved time, though. I don't know if you noticed in the credit, they just bill a Steve Martin short to just save time.
Yeah, Lisa was stunned that the show wasn't created by Steve Martin and Martin Short, that it was Steve Martin and somebody else who created it. But he definitely wrote it for Martin Short. There's no doubt. But then they've been doing. Yeah.
Well, they've been touring for a long time now.
Yeah.
Together and doing shows.
Martin and Martin. Yeah.
But I must say, it's a little distressed that about the young lady from Disney and her language.
You know, I've never seen her in anything else, so it doesn't faze me at all.
All I know is that she got her start, more or less on Disney. Just what a tremendous cast. I spoiler alert, I loved when Tina Fey shows up as the queen of the podcast.
Yes. Tina Fey, Nathan Lane is excellent.
And who is this Nathan Lane fellow?
A little actor. You probably haven't heard of him.
Yes. Did I ever tell you about the guy who, for a second, thought I was in the Ralphs on Lancashire, and he thought I was Nathan Lane? And I'm thinking, yes, Nathan Lane is going to Ralph's on his own and has half a cart of stuff because that's all he can afford.
I believe it because I've told you how much you look like Nathan Lane. I'm sure I am not the only one.
I don't see it.
No, but everybody else does.
I bet you if you asked Nathan Lane, he'd say, that I don't know.
Yes, he would say that exactly. Yep. Words like that. So, also Sting.
Yes, I understand that was Sting.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought he would just be like a quick thing. He was in there for a chunk of time.
Yeah. I love the discussion of the dog.
Yeah.
Which we've never gotten back to.
No.
There was a quick hint about it, again, like quick references, but we've never really figured out who done the dog wrong.
Yep.
So,
And I think that's the whole point of when they bring in the listeners,
yeah.
because they're going back to things that the main cast or the main guys all forgot about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we never went back to this. And
Yeah.
the ending to episode 8 was like, what? Wow, didn't see that coming. That was
Yeah. And
egad.
the main listener, Jabuki Young White from The Daily Show.
Not familiar with that.
Oh yeah. He's on the current Daily Show cast.
Okay.
And so like for me, I'd forgotten he was cast, and I must not have been looking at the screen when he first started talking. I was like, wait a second, who is that?
Well, is it Roy Woods Jr.?
Yes.
He was one of the two agricultural brothers.
Yep. So yeah. Well, it is done in New York.
Oh yeah.
It's the new Law and Order. Oh wait, no, that's Law and Order. It's the new Law and Order. I love that Law and Order comes back right after CSI Vegas.
Comes back, yeah.
Which is a totally different show than CSI Crime Scene Investigation set in Vegas.
Yeah. But, before either of those, the real legal drama, Night Court's coming back.
And I am actually excited to see Melissa Rauch in that role. Melissa? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see John Larroquette back. He's one of my favorite actors. I love the guy.
I dearly wish that the John Larroquette show about him as a recovering alcoholic running a bus station.
Yes.
I wish, even though I liked the second episode or series, second season was okay. I love the tone of the first season, which was just so intense and dark. And
yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes was Chi McBride trying to get everybody to look at his penis because there was a weird mark on it.
That's a fingerprint.
Are you painting in the house? Why, yes.
Or the what was it? I'm trying to remember if it was just the wall that suddenly Jesus was coming out of the wall, the image of Jesus, and it turns out somebody had just painted over a poster.
Yep. Or you remember there was an episode where the Washington Generals, the team that always plays the Globetrotters, were in the bus station, and Ryan Stiles was like the main guy.
I had forgotten about Ryan Stiles, but yeah.
And of course, the classic when he goes with the kid in the wheelchair out to the neighborhood, and the cops pull him over, and he turns up the radio playing "Kill Whitey."
Oh shoot! Now I'm gonna frickin' forget his name. Daryl Chill Mitchell.
Yes.
I remembered him from the John Larroquette show, and I think it was in Ed, maybe, that he first turned up in the wheelchair, and I thought, well, that's a interesting character choice, and it was like, oh God, no, he had a terrible accident.
Well, he was in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair in John Larroquette show too. Yeah,
was he?
Yes.
Not initially.
Nope, he was.
I don't believe it.
He was.
Okay.
I'm sure this is riveting show for.
Yeah, they're like, who? What? When was this from?
Yeah. Andrew Goggin chimes in saying that No Time to Die, loved it, great exit. Yeah, I heard it's a little melancholy on the ending, but yeah, been hearing great about it. And Venom 2 post-credit, both unsurprising and important. Yeah, there's a chance that the end credit scene is actually more important than the movie.
Indeed. Now, I'm going to, I think I'm going to correct you, by the way, Dan. I think you're misremembering because Larroquette Show came before Galaxy Quest,
Uh,
and he was not in the wheelchair yet.
okay, we can research that after. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I remembered him being in the wheelchair behind the counter of the where he was selling stuff.
I think you're misremembering, but yeah. So there you go. Yep. Wow. It was in 93 to 96 was the John Larroquette Show.
Yeah.
And his accident was in 2001.
Oh.
So,
Huh.
Mandela effect.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, still tremendous actor.
Yes.
I watched him for a bit on the NCIS New Orleans until I was like, I can't do these too. Like I was up to here with procedurals.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, but yes, No Time to Die was solid. Venom was solid, and then we have to talk at some point about What If.
Yeah.
What if we talked about the thing we were going to talk about?
But we've got time. We got an hour and a half, and we're only it's the first half hour still. No Time for Die. Well, let's finish up with the Only
John
Murders.
Larroquette Show?
No, Only Murderers in the Building.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The one thing that really jumped out at me, and most of the time I think I would find it annoying, but here it really just clicked, is that they would have these very dramatic scenes, like a big reveal of information, and then Martin Short would say something so inappropriate and just out there that it just totally reminded you that you were in a comedy.
Yeah.
But it worked.
And the narration, which you then realize, I loved the first time when they're doing the narration, and then you realize, oh no, that's the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just I really have enjoyed that. It's been tremendous, and who knew Nathan Lane could play a baddie? Although it wasn't he one of the bad guys in Stuart Little, now that I think of it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that surprised me wasn't just the narration, but how they changed narrators every episode.
Yeah.
And then the 7th episode is narrated by the deaf guy. So there's no words in the entire episode.
Yep. Yeah. It was very, very surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, that you were, I was not expecting it, and it worked wonderfully, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. All right, let's take a few minutes and talk about Venom. Cody says, did you guys like the way Venom came together script-wise? Another interaction with Venom and Carnage rather than just one. I didn't feel like the buildup was as worth the wait for the end battle. All right. Yeah, my thoughts on Venom. We're not going to go too deep into it. Paul hasn't had a chance to see it, so I'm just going to give you my thoughts.
Boil away.
Yeah. Sitting back, just going in the theater, sitting down and watching it, I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. It was a tight movie. They didn't waste any time telling you anything that you didn't need to know. They were very, very concise. I liked that a lot. I like I think they could have spent more time developing the characters. I would like to have seen a little more between Woody Harrelson and Carnage, and a little more between Woody Harrelson and Naomi Harris, Shriek and Carnage, Shriek and Cletus Cassidy, because they do a good job in the beginning of setting up the relationship better than they did in the comics. You know, they actually give them a shared past that makes sense and why they're connected. Oddly, though, they'd start off with an asylum flashback that gave me like PTSD from the movie Malignant. Because there was some similarities between the Malignant opening and the Carnage opening, or the Venom Let There Be Carnage opening. And it kind of just had me twitching because, you know, I did not like Malignant. So it was like, oh, we're going off the rails already. But it pulled it back. I think the special effects were great. I think the acting was spot on. And it was like, just like I said, it was a very tight movie, but they really could have taken another 10, 15 minutes and done some character development, and it wouldn't have hurt the movie. You know, it's not a movie you go, well, they should have cut this and they should have cut that. I'm curious to see if there's, you know, what deleted scenes there are, because this is so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, it's 90 minutes exactly, which I think is part of the reason why I did so well at the theaters, is because they could turn it over so quickly.
Yeah.
Another showing. Yeah. Where No Time to Die did not have a good domestic opening. It's only 56 million, which is well under all the, I mean, Quantum of Solace was around 70 million. Spectre was 85, and Skyfall was like 88 million. And this one comes in.
I mean, the circumstances are so different.
But okay, but the circumstances are different. But overseas, it's already broken 300 million.
Yeah, but that's cumulative. You know, that's a wider range of places, and many of whom took COVID seriously and are in much better shape than we are.
Okay, but Venom did 90 million the previous weekend.
Maybe that just tells you that the people who go see Venom, Let There Be Carnage, are not as bright as the people who want to see James.
Or it could be that a 2-hour and 47-minute movie is keeping some people out of the theater because they don't want to sit through that long a movie, and they can't turn it over as quickly.
That's a good point. So I don't know why I automatically associate COVID deniers with Venom, Let There Be Carnage, but there you have it.
Okay. Cody says, the relationship was fleshed out between Shriek and Carnage, but fell short at the end. I liked it as well and went with a friend that is knowledgeable in comic books. He had some issues with it, but I liked Venom a lot. Again, I liked the movie. I didn't love it. I liked it. And that's kind of how I felt about the first one. This was definitely on par, if not a little better than the first one. I think it spent maybe a little too much time with the Eddie and the Venom relationship. It got a little over the top. There's a scene where he's in a rave, and I get the message they were trying to get in that scene, but I think there was better ways to get that same message across.
Now, what was that message? Because I've seen clips of Venom with glow sticks, but
the message he was trying to get across was almost to humanize him, or understand that he's more than just a symbiote. He's got desires. He's got, he wants to become a hero. He wants to be the lethal protector. That's the words he used. He wants to become the lethal protector. He wants to have a purpose. And of course, he doesn't want to be held back. He feels that Eddie is keeping him hidden and ashamed of him. And he doesn't want to feel that way. He wants to get out. And that's what he says in this, in the middle of this rave. He goes up, takes the mic, and talks about it. And everybody there, it's a Halloween rave. So everybody just thinks he's in the best costume ever.
Yeah.
And they're all very supportive of him. But at the same time, it's just kind of a weird scene. And then also, he's traveling around without Eddie because he separates because it's the second movie in a franchise. So, of course, the hero has to lose his powers for a bit.
Of course.
Yeah. Superman 2, Spider-Man 2, da da da. Um, so he's out there and he's doing this, but the thing that's never talked about and just kind of glossed over is that he's jumping from body into body using them up the same way Riot did in the first movie. And Riot did it, these people died when he left. We're not really getting whether or not Venom is leaving early enough that these people will live or not. They don't actually take the time to give us that. Mm-hmm. So it does seem like that while Venom is out on his, Rumspringer, that he's killing people.
Yeah. And he's not supposed to kill just general people. He's just supposed to eat bad guys.
Right.
Which, is why I've never particularly liked Venom. Because it's got that whole, oh no, he's a sort of a vigilante hero. It's like, he's not just killing them, he's eating people.
Yeah. And then you have, I think Woody Harrelson was great as Cletus.
Mm-hmm.
But it really felt like maybe he was too old at this point.
Mm.
His age really came across. They were trying to play him younger. They were trying to say he and Naomi Harris were comparable age. And I mean, yeah, they at least Naomi Harris is 45. So it's not like they were trying to do this 30 some odd year difference, but there's still like 15, 16 years difference between the two. And it doesn't really work that they were in in an orphanage together.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless he was babysitting her in the orphanage.
Yeah, no. But again, they established the relationship very quickly, very easily too. Mm-hmm. There isn't a whole lot of exposition. They just show these scenes. They tie in the detective character very quickly. So it's if somebody came and if somebody ordered a short script with as much as you can put in it as possible, it's this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have used a little more time to breathe, a little more time for the characters. Also, they could have used a better hairstylist for the men. In the entire movie, as bad as the Woody Harrelson wig was at the end of Venom 1, this one was not as bad, but it still looked like a toupee. The guy that played the detective, his hair looked like a toupee. And Eddie just looks like he doesn't know what a hairbrush is. Yeah. And then there's Dr. Dan with the perfectly coiffed do. Cody says, so Venom being an anti-hero, do you think that change at the end credit scene will affect Venom personality? Will he just hate instead of being on the fence with his feelings? And will Brock fade or some event happen where Spider-Man does something that Eddie needs revenge? I do not think. I think what's going to happen is they set it up that Venom, and this is spoilers, they set it up that Venom is hell-bent on becoming a hero, and Eddie's going along with it at the end, though he doesn't want to let him get a cape and a mask. He's like, I think we've got that covered. But he's convinced that he wants to be a hero. And in the world that he's going into, what the merger does is it puts him in a universe where Peter Parker is wanted for murder. So it looks like he's a bad guy, which Venom would then want to deal with because he takes down bad guys and eats them. So that makes Peter a viable target. Now, I'm assuming that at some point Venom would find out what the truth is and switch sides, because Sony wants this guy to continue to be an anti-hero, not a bad guy. So yeah, I don't see him being on the wrong side for long, but I think it will be from the classic comic book hero. The two heroes meet, and misunderstanding is what I'm looking at. Andrew says Eddie Venom change happened before the end credits.
Oh, well, okay.
And Tom Hardy's pulling a Ryan Reynolds and is attaching himself to Venom.
Well, I mean, yeah. In fairness, I don't think Venom would have gotten. I'm not sure Venom would have gotten made if Hardy wasn't
Yeah,
pushing for it.
yeah, absolutely. Tom Hardy is the driving force on, and he does a good job. You know, I like him as Eddie Brock. I like the setup they got going on. I like the supporting characters they brought back. His ex-girlfriend, who's now getting married to Dr. Dan. At no point do they make Dr. Dan seem like an idiot or an asshole or anything where, oh, she should leave him and go back to Eddie. No, Eddie is the idiot. Eddie is the asshole. Dr. Dan's a good guy who cares, who literally puts himself in harm's way to save her. In the middle of a fight between two symbiotes, he runs in with a gas can and a lighter because he heard that they can't handle fire and is trying to take on Carnage to save Anne.
Mhm.
Okay, just an average everyday guy. That's balls. That's you know. So no, I do like that aspect. It reminds me, in an odd way, of Mrs. Doubtfire. How they never made the Pierce Brosnan character bad in any way as the new boyfriend. If anything, you like the guy. He really does care.
I was going to say Doc Samson, the Hulk movie. Incredible. Was that Incredible Hulk?
That was the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Ty Burrell, yeah.
Ty Burrell was in no way being a jerk.
Yeah. So I do like that when they don't have that relationship thing and, oh, the new guy is an idiot. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hardy isn't going anywhere. He's going to be Venom wherever they take him. Brian says, do you think it's important they call Shriek's condition a mutation? Yes, but not for the I don't think it's a symbol of the mutants are coming, the mutants are coming. But I think it's basically saying mutants are clear for landing. You know, we're not shying away from the word anymore like they did. You know, at the end of Age of Ultron, end of whichever movie ended with introducing Visions or Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and Baron Strucker refers to him as the miracle. These are days of miracles, because he couldn't say mutants. So they can say mutants now. So,
well, I mean, the word mutation has been around a lot longer than the X-Men.
Yeah, and they didn't actually say mutant. They did say my mutation is getting out of control.
Yeah.
So, but the fact she was a mutant, basically. Andrew says, I was impressed at how Eddie has accepted the decision to change to become the Lethal Protector. Yeah, I think he finally embraced what's been given to him, this new ability, you know, and what good he can do compared to fighting against it. You know, and I think he also really got an idea of how Venom felt. I think he was still under the impression that Venom was a parasite that he wanted to get rid of, and now he actually sees him as a partner. You know, and it is kind of like a relationship. I mean, this is kind of a romantic comedy in some ways between Eddie and Venom. You know, it's a strange one, but it's there. But Andrew says it was Captain America: Winter Soldier that had
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I think the ending credits, or the post-credit scene, is more important than the movie itself. In a lot of ways, it kind of feels like they went, we want to do this scene, so somebody write a quick script. What do you want in it? Carnage. Anything else? Nope. It's the equivalent of Ben Templesmith telling me, can you write me a story about guys in suits with samurai swords? I'm like, sure. What do you want to have happen? He goes, I said I want guys in suits with samurai swords. I went, oh, okay. You're just tired of drawing vampires. I get it. I'll take care of this for you.
Meanwhile, I'm going like, you're okay. So what I do is I'll write this thing, and it's just a bunch of samurai sword salesmen. No one uses the swords. They just brokers going back and forth.
Yeah. Andrew, I absolutely agree. The buddy rom-com element of Eddie and Venom is the best part of the movie. I think that's why I wish there was more Carnage Cletus scenes where the two of them were talking, because it's just, oh, hey, we're together now. Great. There's no real conversation. There's just mutual understanding and moving on. And then, of course, they're falling out because of Shriek. I would like to have had a little more on that. Andrew says, well, the movie also wraps up Eddie's backstory, so him moving on has no entanglement. True. Anne is getting married. Yeah. And I do think the half of the apology scene to Venom was also an apology to Anne for the way he acted. Because those apologies would apply to both Venom and to Anne. So.
But did they have Venom and Anne bond so he could be Ben?
They've bonded in both movies, but no one bothered to use that term, though. There was more.
This is how much I paid attention to the Venom movie. I had forgotten that they had bonded in that movie.
Yeah, it's very disturbing when there's suddenly Venom has a female form, because you're like, I'm a little confused here. What should I be feeling?
Kind of like climbing the rope in gym class.
Do you think I ever climbed the rope in gym class, really?
I don't know. You might have been a total jock in high school, for all I know.
I was a drama kid. The Carnage Cletus didn't get built enough, I agree. So the reveal of they not having a symbiotic relationship isn't that strong. Yes. So all of my negativity about the movie is that it just needed about 10 minutes building up a little bit more of the relationship between Cletus and Shriek, and a little bit more of the relationship between Cletus and Carnage. Those relationships needed to be built up more. I think the rest of the movie works. It's just it's a lot of fun, but it's not a great movie. If I was like putting it on the MCU scale, I would put it in there with like probably a little above Thor: The Dark World, but in the bottom third of the MCU films, which to me, even the worst MCU film is better than a lot of other movies out there. I'll sit down and rewatch Thor: The Dark World, The Incredible Hulk, and a bunch of the other movies way before I would sit down and rewatch some of the DC movies or, Yeah. It's like Thor: The Dark World, Halle Berry Catwoman. Which one you picking?
Even John Rogers is going to pick Thor: The Dark World.
Yes.
He makes no bones about that being it's like, well, it was a movie kind of thing.
Yeah. Andrew said, and they had time to add. They absolutely did. They could have taken 10, 15 minutes. The first movie was an hour 57. So to come in at an hour and 30, it just take the time, let it breathe.
I do kind of like the old school, that aspect of it. Make a quick movie.
Well, then what they should have done is had everybody speak in the Mid-Atlantic accent. That would have been awesome. I would have been there for that.
All right, Venom, now let me tell you. We're going to clean things up around here. No, Eddie, I want to be a lethal protector.
Yeah,
it's really hard to do Mid-Atlantic and the voice.
Yes. I thought of it in my head, and I went, nope, can't do it.
Can't do it.
Just not.
And I proved it.
Can't do it, but be prudent. Deep pull. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We talked about Only Murders in the Building, which you and I are both really enjoying.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. I also highly recommend it if you're a fan of any particular mood-enhancing stuff, taking it beforehand, it's a lot of fun.
Before Only Murders in the Building?
Yes.
Wow. I would not have thought about that, but
yep. Very chill.
Because the revelations are much more like, oh wow.
And Martin Short is a little less annoying and a little more funny.
I have been having no trouble with that only because he's supposed to be.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Every once in a while, an actor will be doing a role so that it's annoying, but it's not really the character that's supposed to be a bit much. And in this case, it's definitely the character who's supposed to be a bit much. But anyway, we were talking about that, and then we've covered
that. We covered Venom. We talked about No Time to Die and their less than spectacular box office.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was still within the estimates that they made, but it's the low end, which is, again, kind of shocking because both Shang-Chi and Venom blew out their estimates.
Yeah. I'm wondering if No Time to Die, though, will have a longer tail. That people will be coming in a more measured way than...
It's possible, and I think the word of mouth on Venom might have hurt it, because still Venom did another $32 million.
Yeah.
So there are some people who may not have seen Venom the first weekend and went, well, we'll go see Venom this weekend. We'll get No Time to Die after we pick up a pack of Depends.
Right.
Know? So,
Could be. Could be.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
The only other movies coming out, I know Halloween's coming out, the new Halloween reboot, but that's going to have an issue because they're doing it day and date on Peacock as well.
On Peacock, really?
Yeah,
is it like Peacock Prime or whatever they call their?
Yeah, you have to upgrade for it, but it's NBC Universal, and the Universal's the ones putting out the new Halloween movie.
Yeah.
So they're literally they're sacrificing the movie to get more eyes on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if that's what you want to do, and you don't have deals that are going to get screwed over,
yes, you're not screwing over Scarlett Johansson in the process.
Yep. Yeah. Brian says, I was enjoying The Lost Symbol until I got bait and switched by Peacock. Explain, Brian. Did they make it suddenly pay? Because I'm 3 episodes in. I'm about to watch the 4th. Did they move it to the pay tier after a certain level? Let Brian have a minute to respond to that. And Andrew says, age range for No Time to Die and no online release probably didn't help. Yeah. True. Because you want to take your kids to see Venom.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice, clean, R-rated.
Yes.
Lethal Protector movie.
Yeah. I got the first episodes.
I'm guessing he means 3.
First 3 episodes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now I'm curious because I'm really enjoying the show.
So are you saying, Brian, that yeah.
Oh, so they do. It's okay. So you do have to you do have to upgrade to get the rest. Well,
I've been kind of wondering how Peacock was going to make money because the commercials are not so intrusive as to seem like it's going to pay for the whole thing. Well,
I may wait until they're all out then and do it for 1 month and then turn it off again, or if there's a free trial for the upgrade.
Yeah, well, that's like I'm waiting for a time, and then I'm going to I'm going to binge Ted Lasso season 2. But
that one doesn't.
I am burning my way through Leverage Redemption's second half of the first season.
What is that on?
It is on IMDb TV.
How do you find that?
There's a channel on Amazon Prime, or there's an IMDb TV app that you can put on your TV or your Roku or your Apple, whatever.
So I can go through Prime.
But IMDb does commercials.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I watch with commercials.
Yeah.
I don't hate commercials. As long as it's not the same commercial over and over again.
Yes. Well, thankfully it is at least like it's a normal slate of TV commercials.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, because I noticed it's only 16 episodes. It's like the first 8 and the second 8. And I'm wondering if that's going to be it, or they'll do another 8 episodes to make the first season.
Good question. I have not heard, but I have not watched any yet, and I love the show, so I got to get over there and watch it. But.
Yeah. And
all right.
Yeah, free is good.
Good, free is good. Yeah, I got to check out now because, like I said, I haven't watched the 4th episode of The Lost Symbol yet. But if Brian's saying you got to upgrade, that really kind of changes things. I was really enjoying the series too.
Yeah, and I think when I first moved to my apartment, I got Xfinity, and they gave you free Peacock before everybody else was getting it. And I think you were getting Prime Peacock, but at the time it didn't seem like there was much to watch anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, other than, a bunch of, like they had 30 Rock and
yeah. But you can't blame them because they do need to make money.
Right.
And they could have just put
I can blame them.
Yeah, they could have put it on the pay tier, period. At least you get a chance to see 3 episodes and see if you like the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's confident, because if they didn't, if they wanted you to have to pay to find out, then you're like, maybe this isn't that good.
Yeah.
It's like Ghostbusters. What's the new movie coming out? Ghostbusters Rebirth? No.
Oh,
Aftermath.
Aftermath.
Yeah. They keep doing screenings of it.
Really?
They screened it at New York Comic Con. They screened it at CinemaCon. They just walked in and went, "Oh, by the way, here's our movie," and they played it. And they did it at New York Comic Con too. There was a screening there. Afterlife. Thank you, Andrew. And which tells me they must love this film, because you're just going to get word of mouth. And if it sucked, people are going to come out saying it sucked, and nobody's saying that.
Yeah. But I haven't heard a lot of people singing its praises either, which is weird.
I have. I've actually heard quite a few people. Now, see, CinemaCon is kind of closed to industry people.
Yeah.
Where New York, what we hear about in the next week or so is going to be the people who saw it at New York Comic Con, which will be a much more open,
So what you're saying, though, is that they're hoping that the people who see it at New York Comic Con, their love will be lifting it higher than it's ever been lifted before. Oh, really? Don't like Ghostbuster 2 references?
Why do I do this every weekend? Every weekend. You think I would have learned by now, but no.
Oh, I expect every week to learn that you've replaced me. Like, I don't know. I mean, then my fandom would uprise, and like maybe 2 people would go, "Oh, that's too bad."
Andrew says, "GB2 reference, Paul."
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
We don't.
Especially when there's so many other good reasons to hate.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our main topic, which will give us about 35 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Marvel's What If Season 1 finale.
Yes.
What if the Watcher broke his oath? And I'm just going to say my overall thought on it was To me, the episode made the season work.
Because you didn't think it was going to last week. You were
Right.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I felt like they were rushing into it. And part of me still feels that way. But they made every episode connect in some way.
Yeah.
They really made it interesting.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The episode really was just a lot of fun.
Possibly one of my favorite bits was, it's not the zombies, it's what came with them.
Yes.
And then it's like, Wanda! Oh boy.
Yes, Zombie Wanda. For me, I love the setup, but the punchline we didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Thor stands out there, shoots lightning, and yells, "Viva Las Vegas!" It does nothing, but it's Ultron's response afterwards. He just goes, "I'm not familiar with that battle cry."
Yeah.
Party Thor was the Martin Short of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. You're kind of like, and like, now will be the time when you will rise to the occasion and become heroic Thor. Oh no.
Yep.
Still Party Thor.
Yep, that ain't gonna happen.
I did like the reactions that Doctor Strange got with like, whoa, the kind of like, what was that?
Yes.
The tentacles and
what happened? Oh, same thing as you. Fell in love.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting, and a lot of people don't know this, so I want to put this out there. In the episode, we meet a Tony Stark we hadn't met before and a Gamora we hadn't met before up there with Gimli or whatever the name of the big dwarf is. I know it's not Gimli, but
yes.
Yeah, I'm sure Andrew can fill it in and tell us the actual name and the area he was in.
Let the audience do the Googling.
Yeah, it's like Nefeltime or whatever it is. But
yeah.
And they're destroying the Infinity Gauntlet. And I have a neat theory that I've come across that we'll do at the end. But these two are from the episode that didn't get done. There was originally 10 episodes scheduled. Eitri, thank you.
Brian. Yes. Thank you, Brian.
So there was 10 episodes scheduled, and this was going to be. And this is basically, the story was at the end of Avengers 1, when Tony goes through the portal, sends the bomb, and then starts falling back. He doesn't make it. He instead gets sucked into another black hole type thing and ends up on Sakaar. So you get like the Planet Hulk story, but instead he's the gladiator in that suit he builds, and Gamora's on the planet too.
Gotcha.
And together they take out Thanos. And so that whole story was supposed to be an episode. And the production house or the animation house at the time got hit really bad by COVID. It just ran rapid through. This is what I'm being told. It ran rapid through the animation house, and Marvel didn't want to take the work away from the animation house because they've already ramped up for it. They've got they've put the money into it. So instead, they went, "We'll just run that in season 2." So we'll see that episode, but we'll just see it in season 2. And if you're looking forward something to look forward to in season 2, we're actually going to get an episode where Tony Stark doesn't die, because we know he's alive.
Look forward to.
Yeah. Do we really need to see Tony Stark die that often?
Periodically is nice.
Yeah. You just waiting for the episode where somebody kills him with a knitting needle?
I'm waiting for the episode where he blows himself up while trying to create the armor in the cave.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew. It is kind of a Hulkbuster suit, but it's obviously from the painting on it and stuff like pieces, it's obviously from Sakaar. Plus, Gamora is introduced as the survivor of Sakaar and the slayer of Thanos. But my favorite part through the whole thing is, not you, Stark, you, Gamora. It's like, we are not taking you, Tony. You're just going to mess things up because you'll want to put a suit of armor around everything.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely don't want, hey, let's take Tony Stark and put him with the Ultron that worked.
Yeah. Also, I did think that the zombie Wanda's hesitation was because she looked and saw that it was the Vision inside there.
Yeah.
And then he blew up the planet. But there was just so many what the moments in that. Yeah. When he blows them all up and Doctor Strange just pulls all the energy back in, then eats it. Even Vision or Ultron goes, wait, what? That Doctor Strange is kind of scary,
Yeah, even before he starts unleashing tentacles from his chest.
Oh, yeah. Thor's reaction when he lets out the 3-headed dragon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You had that all along? Why didn't you start with that?
Because Thor really just wants to get back to partying.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And that did very much feel like a Doctor Who moment when he stepped outside of the bar and was suddenly floating in space and because we've seen that so many times on Doctor Who where somebody steps outside the TARDIS.
Yeah, they throw open the doors to get away and go, yes, that's space out there.
Mm-hmm. Just once I want to see the episode where the person actually falls off. They always just catch themselves.
Falls off, burns up in the atmosphere, and Doctor Who's like, oh, time for another one.
That's right. Let's head back to Earth, get another one of them.
I'm waiting, by the way, for rabid Doctor Who fans to go, his name isn't Doctor Who. It's the Doctor.
Folks, it's obvious here that Paul's lonely and he just wants people to email him. So you can find him on Storyville everywhere. Just send him emails. He doesn't need to be this belligerent or try to pick on people. He just needs love. So please
send people. Me? When?
You're trying to push buttons. Doctor Who.
No, actually, I didn't do that intentionally. I just, after the fact, realized now if there are hardcore Doctor Who fans going to be. What? He's known as the Doctor. Yeah, I know. I've probably been watching Doctor Who since before you were alive. So
you were probably watching Doctor Who before he was alive.
Yeah. Oh. Andrew does have a good point. Tony Stark is the instigator.
Yes.
So much MCU woe. Always with good intentions, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, hell, poor Peter Parker. His two main villains so far have been because of Tony Stark. If Stark and the government had created damage control, then Vulture would have just kept on doing his little side business, happy as could be.
Job. Yeah.
A scavenger job. And, and then, of course, upsetting Mysterio by calling his new system Barf.
Yeah.
And, of course, Killian was all because of Tony.
That's true.
Obadiah. Yeah, Ironmonger was all because of Tony.
Well, not all because of Tony. Tony was partly because of Obadiah.
Yeah. Whiplash was because of Tony's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starks are bad news.
Stark's bad news.
Yeah.
Except Maria,
Yeah.
who was apparently and yes. But
yeah. Ned was a good guy until he lost his head. What was your overall feeling what was your overall feeling about the series after the finale?
So I watched it, I enjoyed it, and I got to the end and went, yeah, I liked it. I was not wild about it. Didn't I was not gushing about it, but I liked it. It was good. It was entertaining. It had some great moments. I think partly it's just the and I know that the what if moments were working towards stuff, and they're probably working wanted to emphasize the multiverse idea, but that was one of the things that I didn't buy What If really regularly as a comic. I was not a
you were interested.
Yeah. I bought the What If Jane Foster became Thor. I bought the What If Captain America, or What If the Invaders had stayed together after the war. I think I bought another one. It was What If Bucky became Captain America? What if Bucky had lived, I think was the actual. Yeah. He eventually takes over for Cap. I was very sporadic with this, though. And because I think because it's so intently aimed at going like, oh, see, if things had gone different than the way they went here, things would have been awefuler. And I think that the TV show kind of still played that note. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It was I have no big gripes about it.
Cool.
But which is again not a complaint.
Yeah.
I can't love everything. They can't make everything for everyone. I'm sure there's somebody out there who like, What If was the best thing ever. How about you? How do you feel about
it? I thoroughly enjoyed the finale, and it did make a lot of connections for me that made the previous episodes better. You know, it's like, why are we doing a zombie episode? Well, obviously to drop them on Ultron later on. Okay. I'm in now. I got that.
And Thor, Party Thor's reaction to that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, zombies. Good idea.
Yeah. And I even liked how they ended up using the one that seemed like it wasn't Connect, the Hank Pym murderer one, which is still my favorite episode. I like how they tied that in, because now, it's that displaced Natasha, new home. I do like the fact that they gave us a post-credit scene, and writer A.C. Bradley is interesting. She talked about how every episode had kind of a teaser ending.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the difference between the individual episode teaser and a post-credit teaser is the episode teasers were just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
The post-credit teaser is a promise that this is something we're going to do something with later.
Yeah.
And we do know that they're coming back for another season. We do know that they're going to do 9 episodes, and one will be the missing one from this season. But we also know there's going to be another Captain Carter episode. She's going to be kind of the hinge pin that carries through. So that post-credit scene is likely giving us what Steve Rogers may still be alive.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones at the end I'm like, oh, and they still don't get to be together, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It just struck me. Or the T'Challa Star-Lord one, I felt bad for Peter Quill. It's like, oh, so this one change just left his life to be shit. Well, boy, did that change with this episode. You know, we end with a picture of him and and T'Challa shooting side by side. It's like, okay, so Peter's going to end up in space anyway. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, if Ego doesn't kill him, but so I do like how they gave us all these non-happy endings or these and then the finale kind of went, okay, things aren't as bad as we left them.
Right.
Sure, Nick only has Captain America and Captain Marvel now, but we'll give him a Natasha that from another just to kind of make up for it. Or
yeah. I really enjoyed the through line on Captain Marvel, just that she was showing up in different ones, and generally speaking, pretty darn badass.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that it really felt like Killmonger got his just due at the end.
Yeah.
Being trapped in there with Arnim Zola. And as Andrew points out, Arnim Zola with the head in the chest.
Yeah.
How's that for old school? Yeah. That was just for fans. How are we going to do this? We're going to put his head on the chest. That's exactly, his face is going to be right there.
And just the fact that they brought back Toby Jones to be the algorithm Arnim Zola. That was just too good.
Yeah, because if not, I'm sure they could have got Russ Marquand to play another villain.
Yeah. Ross Marquand and the rest.
That's right. Yeah, the MCU villains will be played by Ross Marquand.
Actually, I still though would have loved for them to work in. Actually, I am Swiss.
Yes, that would have been very good. Anything surprise you? Were there any surprise moments?
Well, I was shocked. Shocked, I tell you, that the Watcher betrayed his oath. Of course, that's another one. If you've been reading comics as long as we have, you're like, Watcher betrays his oath all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of a flimsy oath.
Yeah, his very first appearance was him going like, I can't tell you anything about an ultimate nullifier being over there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I definitely didn't write the location of the ultimate nullifier in that notebook right over there. I definitely didn't do that.
Yes. If I had, I couldn't tell you about that notebook over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope no one picks up that notebook. Yeah.
Did you? I don't think anything really terribly surprised me, but was there something that really got it like hit you?
I was surprised how funny I found the episode, and how much
it was comedic in the face of apocalypse.
Yeah, and there was this odd joy to it.
Yeah,
like when he puts the armor on Captain Carter, and she's like, "What is it?" Just how excited she was, and I love that. But I like the fact that as soon as Natasha was in the battle, there was a Strange. Quickly now she's got armor. You know, I mean they totally redeemed that character.
And I also did really enjoy just the bit of Natasha finding Red Guardian's shield.
Oh, in the previous episode, yeah.
But but going around and she and Sharon having that the replay of the Winter Soldier scene.
Yeah.
Philip in accounting.
Bernard.
Sorry.
That name is important because that's Jeffrey Wright's character on Westworld.
But I did. The one thing that I had a little bit of a question about, though, it's like Natasha going like, "Oh, I have to get farther away before I can shoot him with the arrow." Like, no, you don't. You could shoot an arrow up pretty close.
Oh, and what a shot! I mean, because I don't know about you, but I have never once in my entire life took a USB drive or stick and stuck it in properly the first time.
Yeah.
It usually takes putting it in, nope, turning it over, nope, turning it back, and then it works.
Which is always the weird part. It's like, so I was doing it the right way.
Yes.
But it still didn't go in.
Yeah. I did like the moment that they just started beating the crap out of Ultron.
Yeah.
You know, shield, hammer, boom, boom, clock. Oh, what? No. You know. Yeah. And I think part of this, I think the Vision lacks imagination. And I think that's why they were able to beat him. Because he didn't have the imagination to really use the stones. Everything he did was very blasty. He didn't do, he used the time stone once.
Yeah.
He didn't really utilize them in any clever way. Oh yeah, the Reign of Mjolnirs was amazing.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah. Strange, that version of Doctor Strange just suddenly went so high up on my list. He's a badass, you know?
Emphasis on the bad.
You kill one universe.
Yeah.
But he did it for love.
Well, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
But Bryan Adams says everything I do it for you. That was,
I bet you Meatloaf could take Bryan Adams in a fight.
Not now.
I don't know. Have you seen Bryan Adams lately?
Yeah, he's still in better shape than Meatloaf.
Well, put it this way. Did Jim Steinman write any of Bryan Adams' songs?
No. Put it this way. Did Meatloaf write any of Meatloaf's songs? Because I'm pretty sure Bryan Adams wrote a lot of his own.
Well, yes, but you have to understand that Jim Steinman is like a rock opera god, or was.
I know. He made Celine Dion sound good in a song. Okay,
that's pretty impressive.
It is.
Yeah,
it absolutely is. Yeah, and Bonnie. I wonder if Bonnie Tyler would have had a career without him.
It's hard to say. And certainly Streets of Fire would not be the absolute classic that it is.
Definitely would not be.
Without them going, Jim, Bruce won't let us use the song. Come up with something.
Yep. Oh, yeah, no, I do love that movie.
Andrew is, of course, correct. Bryan Adams could not handle a Jim Steinman song.
True, he doesn't have the vocal range.
Yes. Nor the presence.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just expecting him to go like, oh, I was working on the farm in Saskatchewan, and now I'm going to,
By the way, Streets of Fire is a movie that people either love or never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
I have not met anybody who went, oh, that piece of crap? Yeah. It's one of those that people just either they get it or they've never heard of it.
It's certainly my favorite Michael Pare film.
Oh, I don't know if I would go there.
Tom Cody, pleased to meet you.
I really like Eddie and the Cruisers.
I like Eddie and the Cruisers, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it had Eddie and the Cruisers 2.
Yes.
There was no Streets of Fire 2.
Yeah. But, I mean, you look at Eddie and the Cruisers, and that was Tom Berenger. That was Joey Pantoliano. I mean, there was some good actors in that movie, and that's a good movie.
Perhaps then I should say it was my favorite Michael Pare role. Streets of Fire.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily comparing the quality of the movies as far as I thought the.
There is a Streets of Fire sequel movie. It exists.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It is one of the weirdest things you've ever seen.
They only refer to him as Tom, so he could be anybody.
It counts. It
it is amazing to me. But wasn't it made by Pune rather than?
Yeah, it's made by Albert Pune, written by Cynthia Kernan. It's called Road to Hell. And yes, they do dance around it, but it's supposed to be the sequel. But it's like filmed all on green screen. It is just a very odd movie. But Deborah Van Valkenburg comes back for it.
Yeah. I tell you, well, but did they have yes, Andrew is correct. It's like there's only one Highlander movie. But that was exactly what I was thinking about too, Andrew.
I accept the existence of Highlander 2, the Renegade cut.
I don't know that I've ever bothered to watch it because the whole premise made no damn sense.
That's the point of the Renegade cut, is they throw out the whole alien thing.
Yeah.
It completely puts it back on track.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
and then I really liked the TV series too.
Have you ever seen the Pune, or have you ever tried to watch the Pune sequel to Sword and the Sorcerer?
I didn't know there was one.
It's called something like Lost Empire. It stars Kevin Sorbo, which tells you a lot right there. And Michael Paré is in the opening sequence, which is pretty much green screen. Like they do like cartoon stuff behind him, and he does stuff like, they're like, and then he sees the whole Tales of the Empire. And he's like, and he's kind of dressed almost like almost like a samurai. Andrew, smart move. I literally could not get through the first 20 minutes because the prologue lasted so long, and it was all this like weird animation with Michael Paré standing in front of it, giving like puzzled looks.
Okay.
Anyway,
we're way off the track here, but since
it's all pop culture,
we're talking about Michael Paré.
Yeah.
I have to know if either of you, anybody here, Paul, Andrew, anybody else, remembers a short-lived TV series starring Michael Paré and Michael Beck from Warriors and Xanadu called Houston Nights.
Warriors, Xanadu, and of course Megaforce.
Yes, but Houston Nights.
Houston Nights. That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it was in the same era. Yeah, it was a Miami Vice clone. It was New York City cop Michael Paré goes down to Houston and meets up with Southern boy Michael Beck, and they have to work a case together. And it was interesting.
Yeah,
Sorbo is a former actor, not a nice person. Yeah, I've kind of picked up on that over the years.
I dearly love every time on Twitter that Lucy Lawless decides to vent her ire on Kevin Sorbo because it's always hilarious.
Yeah.
She always has some sort of a diminutive nickname to call him, and is just like setting him straight on stuff. So all hail Lucy Lawless.
I'm kind of at a point where I'm tired of finding out that the people I enjoy watching on screen are idiots or are just not nice people. I'm really tired of that. It was
one of the disappointments of Twitter, where I got on Twitter and I followed all the cast of Firefly, and one of them did not make the cut. Within a day, I had unfollowed one
Does
of
he
those
wear
people.
a knit hat?
Man walks down the street in a hat like that. Yeah,
He'll be in his bunk. Yeah.
I did like in Alan Tudyk's the Con Man, when because Henry Rollins was playing the Adam Baldwin character, and the deep dark secret was what was it? Oh, that he was conservative.
Yeah.
And
I had a
Tudyk's character had accidentally revealed that in an interview.
I'm disappointed. I had a chance to go down and in the convention scene in Con Man, I had a chance to go down and be part of that.
Yeah.
And just couldn't clear my schedule enough to go. So,
yeah. My buddy Rob Worley's in that. And of course, our pal, oh, come on, Paul.
Tone?
Shannon Eric Denton.
Yes. Shannon was actually the one putting it together.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Was where I was going with that, but then for some reason, I was going through all the Denton was throwing me off, and I was like thinking about Denton Tipton, and I'm like, no, that's not.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah. Eva says, never meet your heroes. Have you met all of them? And most are fantastic and nice. That's been my experience, is that the majority of them are awesome. You know, I got to spend a few minutes talking to Jack Harkness. John Barrowman.
Oh, John Barrowman. Yeah, he seems pretty delightful.
He was fabulous. He was wonderful. I got to meet and actually had an amazing experience with Buffy, Spike from Buffy.
Oh, James Marsters.
Yes, James Marsters.
No, James.
Marsters. Yeah,
Marston
is the guy from X-Men Marsters.
Right.
Yeah, that was a life experience for me. So
yeah,
so
actually, I'm pals with Clem, the loose skin demon from Buffy. So he's a very, very nice guy.
Yeah,
James Cleary.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet James. I had written a comic for Humanoids. Yeah. It was just an 8-page story with Mark Figueroa, and it was one of the ones they decided to adapt for the Metal Hurlant Chronicles when it was on Sci-Fi. So I ended up writing the screenplay for it because it was just an 8-page story. They needed a little more. So I told the guy, well, let me work on it. And Barrowman and Spike really good with the fans. Yes, they are.
I just realized that I mashed Jimmy's name together. It's James C. Leary. And I called him James Cleary.
Yeah.
I've only known you a few years, Jim. Don't. Yeah, he goes by. But I don't. Yeah, I've known him for conventions. Is usually where. Did I mention that after the Cincinnati show that I had gotten a chance to talk with Sam Witwer?
Yes, you did.
And yeah, he was a very polite person. Also, Matt Lantner were both nice to talk to. Inflammation Day was adorable.
Yeah, let me finish up the Marston.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So I write the script, and then I get a call from the guy doing it. And he goes, well, we're getting James Marsters and Michelle Ryan to be in it. And I'm like, oh, my God, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I started seeing interviews that Marsters is doing online, and he's talking up this. He's been in a couple of the episodes. He's talking up this one specifically, and he says the nicest thing I've ever heard, which was, this is as close to a Twilight Zone episode that I'll ever get to be in.
Ah.
Like, oh, thank you. Thank you. So I'm at Phoenix Con and he's doing the photo session and stuff. And I just want to meet him. And I don't have any ins. I just want to meet him and thank him for being so kind about it and for doing such a great part. And so I buy a photo shoot. Yep. So I go in there and I said, I'm more here to meet you. I wrote the episode of Metal Haunt Chronicles called Shelter Me. And his eyes went like super big. He's like, oh my God. And he just starts gushing about it. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is the greatest moment of my life. You know? Oh. Yeah. And he was just so nice about it. And I've got a picture of him and I together. And he's standing there like a proud peacock. And I'm like, wow, this is, James Marsh just can do no wrong in my book at this point. So, all right, guys, we're running a little over, so we're going to have to wrap it up there. So this was a fun night. We got to cover a lot of stuff. Great audience participation. Thank you. I'm going to go with Eva. That's Eternatine for Eva.
No, forever.
Forever. Okay. Eternatine forever.
Yeah.
Eterna. We'll go with Eterna.
Okay.
Andrew and Brian and everybody else who came in. Thank you to Kiki and Jamal and Scott and Jim Beard, our good friend, and Cody for all popping by. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like and stuff. Maybe share it. I thank you guys so much for coming by. We'll be back next week with some topic at this point. I'm not sure what we're going to cover, but Paul and I will figure out something. I got a couple ideas, but maybe we'll bring Andrew in as well. Do a three-way conversation on something. But
a ménage à trois.
No.
Ménage à trois. Talk. Never mind. Good. Yes. Bash on Paul, Andrew.
Paul's on Storyville. You can find him everywhere. You're obviously finding me already here. We're going to wrap it up. Have a great week, folks. Go to the theaters. Go see No Time to Die. Go see Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Check out the shows like Only Murderers in the Building, The Lost Symbol, at least 3 episodes. Have a great evening.
Later, folks.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.